You're saying we need a pilot cam?
Yes, we do.
We need a pilot cam to see him sitting on the couch. I don't know that the people need to see that.
You know how many viewers you would get, probably?
I don't.
For dog.
For dog?
This dog.
Oh, I've seen that already when it comes to just regular videos. Way more views on pilot stuff than just things that I've made, for example.
Yeah.
Things that I've slaved over. Yeah, why watch that? It's just pilot, though.
What?
Nothing. Pilot gets all the attention.
Mm-hmm. If you want to have questions for him.
Okay, you ready to do this?
Yeah.
Let me make sure I know which button. What? I got this.
This is how to watch TV.
Severance with Joel and Michelle live at Don't Have a Studio. My name is Joel Henderson. With me, as always, my lovely wife. I'm Michelle.
Hello, I'm Michelle.
Yes.
Sorry.
And we're brought to you by Just Don't Have a. That's all. We're here to talk about Severance, Season 2, Episode 7, Chikhai Bardo.
Yes.
Which apparently is the name of the stance on that card.
The stance on the card.
Yeah, the card from the episode that like she was looking at where it was like the yoga pose thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that one was called.
Oh, that's right. Okay. They did reference the Chikhai. Someone was saying
Chikhai Bardo.
Chikhai.
Chikhai.
Okay. Hold on.
I'll just get into the live stream here in case there's any chat coming through. Okay, we're good there. So, previously, they mentioned Mark and Gemma couldn't have kids. That was not something that stood out to me from the first season, them mentioning that. So it must have been a real quick hint. But you kind of, that was the moment I knew. That was the moment I knew something bad was going to happen in that regard. Like the fact that they brought it up on a previously on, that means this is about to be relevant.
Oh, okay.
And I just had a feeling they weren't going to be able to have kids. Like
really?
Like it was going to be a problem.
Okay.
It was like, oh God.
So once I heard that, I was thinking like, remember like little like babies crawling around? Mm-hmm. Like maybe it's like all referencing something.
But that baby is Kier Egan.
I know, but still, it's a baby. Maybe.
It's a baby, maybe?
Maybe.
It's a baby, maybe. I don't know. We do, for the first time, see Gemma out in the world. Like when she's at the blood donation with Mark.
That is very true. Let me pull up my notes.
Oh, you didn't have your notes open.
No,
I
I
thought
was
we were
texting
already.
our tax lady.
Well, that's
Sorry.
relevant currently.
Okay, cancel Severance. Okay. Yeah, that's the first thing I have. The opening. It's Gemma just walking.
Right.
And it's like, oh, present day Gemma. But the whole time I'm thinking, like, when is this? It's obviously a flashback.
Right.
To whatever time.
Did they say how long ago Gemma died? They had to have. I just don't remember. It must be a couple of years at this point, right? She's seemingly been there for a while. Anyways.
How long has Mark been there?
That's what I mean.
Before, like, Helly got there.
I feel like if they had said 3 years is standing out to me for some reason, but maybe that's wrong.
Okay.
It might have been PD or whatever. So yeah, they meet at the blood donation and chat about the same book that was mentioned later, the death of whatever.
I didn't write the name of the book down.
I wouldn't have been able to pronounce it anyways. Who are we kidding?
But...
The death of Ilyanovich or something.
Is that the book that Mark was reading? Or...
That was the one that Gemma was reading. Yes.
Because it was like something about religion too.
But it was like the title. It was like the death of blah blah, and he's like, spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, come on, I haven't read it yet.
But I noticed how like it pans like when it's like dripping the blood through the IV. You see the Lumen logo.
Yeah. So it was a Lumen blood draw.
So does Lumen produce, manufacture so many types of products? Because there's...
Yes, they do balms and topical lotions and things like that. Ointments.
And now they do machinery to facilitate the drawing of blood? Because it was branded Lumen.
Well, that might just be something they put on, but I would imagine they have optics and design.
Yeah, so they're designing.
Yeah, they're doing it in-house.
So it's like, what else do they do? Okay.
Yeah, all of the things. It was very interesting to see who Mark was before the trauma.
Oh, yes.
A nice beard, short hair, a shorter haircut, a little more like buttoned up, or not buttoned up, but just you saw the lack of pain in his eyes and on his face.
Right. I think I discussed that more. Oh, I am confused. Like, why do I have gaps in my notes? I took the gaps like you did.
Yes, in between scenes. That's the only way that I can tell. Otherwise, I'm just reading through going, where are we?
Right. I think I referenced it, Mark, and his demeanor. But yeah, you can just tell. Like, at first I didn't realize. I'm like, oh, this is a different Mark, obviously. But then as we go further into the episode, it's just kind of what his life was like before. So you see how chipper and he's smiling, whereas now it's just...
Yeah, there's no joy left.
Cold look on his face. It's just...
Yeah, the joy gets taken away, and you got to find your smile again. Let's see. So, like you said, the Gemma's getting blood drawn for Lumen. Gemma, where did you go? The nurse asks.
Wait a minute. Pause the intro.
No, we haven't got to the intro yet. The opening credits, you mean?
Maybe we'd say previously on...
Oh, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure that's Devin's voice.
You think it was Devin and not Gemma?
Oh, I don't know. It sounded like Devin.
I didn't catch who it was.
Because after watching it, I feel like we focused a lot on Devin.
Well, Mark was passed out the whole episode, current day.
True.
That's the first. Like, no Helly, no Bert, no Irving, no Dylan.
No Milchek. Milchek at the very end.
No Miss Huang, no Cobell.
Nobody.
I mean, we saw...
The dentist guy.
We saw... What was his name? Dr... Where is it at?
Steve Drummond, don't we?
It was like...
Muha, or...
No, it's not Muha. What is it? Dr... It's something like that. Come on.
I wrote it down. Let me just scroll through.
Yeah, this is fun to listen to. Dr... Come on, what is his name?
Mark? No, it's Mark.
I have that in here, too. Man, this is annoying.
How many notes did I take?
Lots of notes, but still didn't find dude's name. Maurer. Dr. Maurer.
Maurer.
Shoo.
Muha was close.
Muha. But that wasn't the doctor we were at yet. We were just at the nurse.
Right.
That asked her where she went.
Oh, yeah. She said, Gemma, where did you go?
Right. And then it cuts to Mark and Gemma together in bed when they were happy. Just
my question was after the Gemma, where did you go? Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, is this her reintegration process? Are they asking her the questions? But that was just my initial thought. Like,
right. No, I think it was more just like where she drifting off thinking about stuff. I think the biggest revelation right off the bat is that Gemma still is alive.
Yeah.
Like Gemma as she was, not only the Miss Casey version.
Right.
That Gemma that remembers and Mrs. Mark actually exists and never died to begin with.
Mrs. Mark.
That Mrs.
I know,
Mark.
but Mrs.
Yes,
Mark.
Yeah, Mrs. Mark.
Flowed. So then, now we jump to the flashback.
Jesse jumps in after we figured out Dr. Maurer. Thanks, Jesse. Hello.
Dr. Muha.
Dr. Maurer.
So then, the flashback of them in bed. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything after that before we jump into?
No, get to Ragabi or get to them back at the house.
So this is Devin kind of looking at Mark, looking into his eyes.
Right.
His eyes are closed. Someone said this might be a deficit. This might be a deficit. I think Rugabi said that to her, like, this might be a deficit. Something of what's happening. I don't know. I could be very wrong.
I feel like that was an autocorrect, babe. I'm not sure what you were trying to say, but I don't know either. Deficit was the word.
Devin questions Rugabi about what's going on, says, this is when Rugabi tells Devin he's reintegrating. And she's like, no, he's not. And then I just feel like Devin just got all like, it was just about her. Of course, that's her brother.
Right.
And so she's the only one that's like, knows what he's trying to do. But also I feel like, not that she was being pushy, but just like... For
a split second there, I had is Devin in on all this vibe?
Something.
Just for a second. It went away very quickly, but I thought, like, wait a minute, does she have an agenda here besides Mark's best interest?
Right, so the doctor tells her that Gemma is alive.
But she also, Devin threatened to throw Ragabi off a bridge if she does anything to
That's
Mark.
right.
She touches him again.
So Devin has no say over what Mark wants to do. And I put
Correct.
that Devin was being like aggressive. But I get it being on the defense
do.
side when it's like,
I don't want to double, second guess everybody.
Right.
Like that. It's not everybody's in on a conspiracy, but like
But
she is
towards
with
later-
Rickon, so that make sense still.
right, this is so confusing. When I like check it off,
Does it jump
it
down to
like,
the bottom?
jumps to the top.
Interesting.
So it's really confusing now.
Yeah.
Where am I at in my...
I don't check them off. I just leave it.
You told me you check yours off.
Well, I don't have to.
All right.
It's just showing me the gap. Tells Devin that Gemma's alive. We're still sitting in the dark. Can somebody turn on a light? Like, I understand the artistic integrity of like, we want to show that there's only this single light source in the modern day, everybody, because their lives are so dark. But if somebody if your brother just collapsed right in front of you, are you not popping on an overhead light so you can make sure that he didn't bust his head open? You're good with just the desk lamp.
They have to be dark in there because if they're driving by, checking them out.
So they're not allowed to have lamps in this world? Like,
I mean, I'm sure they are, but for what they're doing, Ragabi doesn't want to be seen or...
I get it's a visual
Not
choice,
that-
but it's frustrating to me because logically you're going to be like, somebody turn on a light so I can let's get some light on this situation. I'm a doctor, or sort of a doctor, or I'm his brother. I want to see what he hit his head on.
Right.
Check out the up in the hair, like just make sure everything's all right. I don't know.
So
Then we
now...
went to opening credits.
Oh, right.
You had something else before that?
No. I was just going...
Go on. I don't have anything about opening credits. Go
I
on.
didn't either.
What you
Now
got?
they're back at Lumen. Gemma I didn't know what she was doing in the room. I was like, is she in training for her? Because I knew she was a wellness coach before, or
Right.
wellness, whatever.
Yeah, that's
her
an
role is.
interesting thought. Like, is
So I
this
was
just
like,
part of
is
her
this
job?
her training? Because there was a nurse with her, and her little green pant and long sleeve outfit looks very comfortable, by the way.
Okay.
But just like she was in a uniform, but obviously that wasn't her uniform because when she goes into the different places, she's in different outfits.
Right.
But so I don't know if this was like, because they were making sure like certain things were good with her. I don't
It
know.
looked like they were doing some tests on her, like blood pressure and
So
stuff
they're
like that.
she's like, have you eaten today, honey?
Right. The goat eye exam chart.
Did we get to the goat eye exam
I
chart
mean, I
yet?
just have lots of tests being done on Gemma and then the goat
Right.
eye exam chart.
Yeah, I just had the question that they're asking her, like,
Yeah,
have you
she
done
read
your
50
reading?
pages. That's after the goat chart.
And it's like they're doing an exam on her to make sure she can perform her job.
I think they're more like basic memory skill tests kind of thing, just to see
Yeah.
her cognitive abilities, possibly.
Fair.
So again, sorry to keep harping on the goat eye chart, but why was there a goat eye exam version where it was a goat
Maybe
silhouette and then it was turned sideways
the
and
goats
upside
get
down?
exams.
And they're supposed to tell you what? Upside down,
Upside down,
turn to the
goat,
right 90
bigger
degrees.
goat.
I'm a goat.
Tiny goat.
Yeah, what?
I don't know.
It's gorgeous. I want one of those on the wall behind me, a goat eye exam chart.
Oh, more of the things. I like those weird little, I call them stress balls that she was holding when she was getting asked all the questions in her little wellness check for herself or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. They're just interesting. And then some other questions. They have,
Yeah,
like, if
go
you were
ahead.
caught in a mudslide.
I had the 50, read the 50 pages and did her calisthenics.
Yeah.
Okay, so go on.
Now she asked, if you were caught in a mudslide, would you rather...
What are you more worried about?
Right. Would you be more afraid of suffocating or drowning?
Well, how about you? What would you think?
I don't know.
Mudslide. So you're in a car or something, and then all of a sudden there's just like dirt, but wet dirt, just falling everywhere. Well,
I think I'd rather drown.
It sounds like the same thing.
I could at least start drinking the water.
Drowning or suffocating.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, see?
So,
But they're asking her to
but she
provoke a
said
reaction, I think.
drowning. So that's when I said maybe when she was in her car accident, if she ever was in a car accident, did she go over a bridge? Did she drown?
I don't know that she was in a car accident.
That's what I'm saying. But this was just my.
Yeah, by the end of this episode, it doesn't feel like.
Oh, right. Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
have to talk about why she ended up there. Let's see. they asked how many rooms today.
6.
6 rooms today, and then I was like, what does that mean?
That's like, is it like an escort service? And it kind of, in a way...
Oh, I finally get to talk about Dollhouse on here, which she was in.
Gemma?
Yes.
Stop.
Deechin. Dang it. I listened to the podcast today and they said her name, Deechin. It was like, yeah, something like that. And, damn it, what were we talking about? She was in Dollhouse, and in Dollhouse, if you've never seen it, go back and watch it. They can imprint personalities into the people that stay there and send them out on adventures or missions or whatever.
I would love to be like tested.
And she was in that show, so like that made me think of that when it was like, oh, is she gonna go be different people in these different places? And turns out, yes.
Right. Yeah.
In each one of them, which is a brand new revelation in Severance, that you can be severed multiple times.
So she's severed multiple times?
Each room was a different version.
Cow, I didn't even put that together.
She was Gemma when she was in that room getting ready.
Getting her wellness check.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I called her wellness check.
In the hallways, she's Gemma.
She's walking, and then when she enters the room,
she's somebody else.
Boop, boop. Oh my gosh, it is different.
That same
people.
guy was in there every time. He was in every room, pretending to be a different person.
But yeah, it's referenced about like, oh, is she finding love within these rooms? The guy in the
Of
sweater.
course, because he's desperate for her. Like, he's trying to provoke that out of her.
Crazy. Back to my escort rooms.
Go on.
I don't think they're escort rooms, but as we go further into it, it reminds me of like, she was like, oh, how many rooms? Like 6 rooms. Like, kind of saw like that, like not a level of frustration, but just kind of like okay. Like even the nurse lady knew that was a lot of rooms. Like, so I thought of like, oh, she's just going to different things. And
there are 24 rooms. The 25th room is Cold Harbor. I saw that somewhere today on the internet.
Okay.
The 25th uncompleted room is Cold Harbor.
Okay.
That's the only one she hasn't been in. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm jumping ahead a little bit there.
So now...
Why did she say shit looking at her outfit? Do you think that was because she knows that's
She knows, she knows what... I think, but it's like, so she remembers...
Well, she remembers what pain she had after leaving the room.
So that's what, so I have, she opens a closet and sees outfit and says shit, maybe not her style at first. And then I said, or if she says shit because she's familiar with that outfit and which room it pertains to.
Yeah.
So she sees it. At first I was like, maybe she doesn't like it but as we go further along, we see.
She knew that was the teeth room.
Or something she knew where she was, She
knows that's the one where my jaw's going to hurt when I leave the room. Because that was the first thing she did afterwards. She held her jaw like,
So they feel pain or they feel stuff after.
So we'll get there. Sorry. Allentown marking on a door as they walk down another floor at Lumen.
Cairns?
Karens, they almost made it sound like.
Cairns.
They said it. They were like Karens. And it was like, oh, okay.
Dranesville.
Dranesville, Loveland. Wellington.
That's the one that she enters, Wellington.
Okay. So did you notice the finger prick sensor?
Yes, that was so cool. I said, cool finger prick machine access.
So, but that would be simply so it can't be like a swipe card to get into the room. It has to be a blood test to see, but they have blood test capabilities that quickly.
Wow.
That's like pricking my finger for diabetes. And then it's just like, oh yeah, you are Joel.
Yeah.
You can enter.
And
what?
So only that one nurse.
It takes 5 seconds to come up with the number.
Right. So only that nurse can... Obviously, she has access from her little finger prick. So it must be so, not confidential, but a level of security.
Yeah.
To the fact that they have to have that. Gemma, she's going in, but she can't let herself in. So it has to be someone else that walks into each room.
Because, well, yeah, I don't know what the downside would be other than she could get in there, but why would she want to go in there? These are rooms that it seems like she already experiences the trauma from.
So imagine how big this place is. This is like a whole other back half now.
So this is another level down or up.
Or something, but yeah, but
it's
still.
somewhere between. Well, let me think here. Did she go down when she tried to leave, or did she go up?
I feel like she went up. I do not know.
Okay, it must have been up because this has to be in beyond severed access. Because the interesting thing about Gemma is that she's severed when she leaves that. When she gets to the severed floor, she's no longer Gemma. She's Miss Casey.
Right.
But she's not Miss Casey when she's in any of these rooms.
She's somebody else. What's her name?
I don't know.
We don't know. So she's not Miss Casey.
Or they call her. Or they call her Gemma. I don't know. I can't remember what they call her in the rooms. Does anybody in the chat remember?
This is because now this is when they got rid of her. This is what she's doing currently, right?
Yes, this is current.
Okay. So what was I gonna say? I was just thinking like how big the place is, or I guess each floor, I guess, because imagine the span of the hallways that she's in, then you have these rooms. So there's got to be a whole other layer of doors and hallways somewhere else from when they're entering in.
Yeah, and also the remember that in season 1 there was that Keir Egan's house.
It was huge.
It was a massive room. It was so deep of a room, or so tall of a ceiling. Yeah, I would love to see what it looks like, a floor plan layout of all of this, other than the one that we wrote down from the thing. Let's see, we got a few comments in the chat here. Jesse said the way my jaw dropped at that revelation, holy shit, that must have been about her being severed going into the room.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's still being Gemma. Maybe in the dentist room they changed the chip/innie. I don't know, I think that there's a different... So all of these are the ones that they've completed. The first one that Mark did was Allentown. Because remember he said he had a freshman fluke where he came in and he finished a project real quick and he got that little clear chiseled out thing of him for his desk. It says Allentown. So they're helping these rooms be valid.
Create different worlds or lives in there?
Well,
or
it's not even that. It's just maybe it's a part of the personality.
Mission, like they're controlling her severed mind when she's in there?
I don't know what the teeth thing could be doing, because it could be trying to improve people and like fix any perceived flaws to where, like, for example, let's say that they're fixing all her teeth. So when her and Mark ever meet again, is he going to be like, did you get your teeth done?
Right.
Like, are they trying to make perfect people like that? Where, what else would the point of the teeth be?
Right. I mean, she seems pretty perfect, and
she didn't seem like she had bad teeth. You know what I mean? Where it doesn't look like she needed a bunch of work and they're just doing it because they need to get it done.
Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say anymore.
Well, but also that innie now is only an innie they only exist getting their teeth worked on.
So
that's horrifying.
The guy comes from optics.
He's the guy
with
pushing the cart.
The dental tools, and so that's where he's obviously going, is into that room.
Yes.
So he came from the severed floor, or like the MDR floor.
Yes.
Or optics floor, or whatever. All of those.
That's severed floor.
The severed floor.
And then went to the testing floor.
Right. So that hallway that he walked down is the one that Milchek ends up appearing at.
Yes.
That must be that door. So it's just those dental tools are kept. This is a lot to think about. I feel like I've never had to think this hard.
It's lovely.
I don't even think this hard in school.
Let's see. Jesse said that was about the time I realized that is why Lumen makes their doors in-house. They do call her Gemma in the room, she says.
They do?
So that's why later on, I don't want to jump past everything. I'm just riffing on this episode now because it's a great episode. It might be one of my favorites.
Wait, I kind of forgot about my notes and I was like, wait.
Yeah, we're just talking. We know all this stuff. We make the notes so we don't forget. Yeah, so if they call her Gemma in each of those rooms, that's why dude's trying to say, I love you, Gemma. You know, I said, I love you, kind of thing. Like he's trying to seep through to real Gemma. So these are like, oh my God, what if dude is, why, I don't know why they would be indulging him, but what if they made all these different options to try to seduce her? To have this guy try to seduce her to figure out what is keeping her infatuated with Mark. It's just a thought.
Right.
Let's see. Jesse said, it seems to me that each room is an uncomfortable experience that people dislike. They're trying to sever all negative experiences, maybe?
Yeah, I used to hate going to the dentist as a kid. I always felt sick on my way there.
Okay.
But once I was there, it was fine. But nowadays, I love going to the dentist.
Okay, I have to jump to this because, Cosme, I hope I said that right.
Hey, Cosme.
Said, I am agree. So I'm assuming he agreed with what we were talking about. But
Okay.
Jesse then jumped in and said, this episode is right up there with The Constant from Lost for me, one of the greatest episodes of television I've ever seen.
We should watch some Lost tonight.
But do you remember The Constant? That's the one with when Desmond was on the freighter,
yes.
and he has to try to contact Penny, and he's
Yep.
flipping through time.
That was really good.
Yes, that's one of the best
That
episodes
was a lot
of
of
TV
thinking. That was a lot
ever.
of thinking.
Yes.
So, okay. Okay, but I have some
This
notes.
is what I need on a regular basis. These kind of stupid conversations that we entertain well beyond
These are
rational
not stupid
thought.
conversations.
No, they're not. They're great.
So before she went into when she was in the room, the dental room, she asked him if she could have a break.
Right, and he's like, you've been gone for
Like
six.
for a little while, and then he said, it's been 6 weeks.
So again, she only exists in that room. That version of her. Think of
Jeez,
Helly in
man.
season 1 when
Oh.
she was trying to leave work and she kept popping back in the door. Like when she tried to go out in the hallway and she kept showing back up. So from the innie perspective, I'm just here. I went out. Oop, I'm back in. So she could be gone for a year and come back in and it feels like it just happened.
Jeez.
Because that was the last time she was conscious. That's horrifying. Cosme put, I love you, Penny.
So she was, you can tell she's scared, sitting in the chair. Says open wide, please. And that's when she merges back. And then she's back coming out in the hallway and she's holding her jaw. And she asked the nurse lady, how long was I in there for? She said 2 hours.
Yep.
2 hours? Does a root canal even take 2 hours?
No, what could they be doing?
Right. She didn't have any gauze in her mouth
I don't know. It's torture, Jesse said. Like they're straight up just torturing her? It's possible. But in what is a possible version of torture where they're just
Did
dentists
you see all those
torturing you?
tools?
But why?
I didn't see any numbing gels though on that
I
tray.
didn't see any numbing gels. They make all the lotions and stuff. They
Like-
should. So after that, we see the Cold Harbor door. Did you notice that? That's the last thing I have before we go to Mark.
This explains why she said shit when she saw her first outfit.
Yep.
She knew where she was going and she obviously didn't want to go there. Now we go to walking back. Oh, I noticed Rhodes. There was a room titled Rhodes,
Okay.
like Cody Rhodes. Maybe it's like
Okay.
a wrestling one or something.
I feel like we had a list at some point, didn't we? Of most of them?
There's one at the bottom of our
Yeah.
notes, so they kind of read off.
Right, we'll go through that. At some point.
And then she passes Cold Harbor.
What do you think is the deal with Cold Harbor? Do we have any thoughts in the chat of what is the significance of the 25th door? And what do we think happens to her in there? People have been suggesting online that she dies in there. To me, that's pointless.
She died
You
in the
can't
Cold Harbor.
unless it's about continuing the consciousness. This everlasting life idea of Keir Egan and all that stuff.
Because it has to do with Mark, because they need Mark specifically for Cold Harbor.
Right.
So that ties them together, because husband, former.
But I can't imagine that Lumen's goal is to reunite Mark and Gemma at some point.
Not at all.
So what
Unless
the hell
they're
is the
trying
point
to,
of
like-
Cold Harbor?
Reunite them, and they're trying to disorient them so much to where they don't even know who each other, or like who they are. Like
They've already achieved that, to be fair.
Right.
In season 1, Mark and Miss Casey are standing there, Mark S., and they don't know who each other are. So they've achieved that. I don't know, there's so many questions.
Yeah.
So we go to Mark, and he's sleeping in the dark, because of course, why would we have turned on a light at this point? It's the middle of the night. Let's just leave all the lights off. His eyes start kind of moving underneath his
oh
eyelids.
yeah, So Devin is back with Mark. Seems like she obviously cares about her brother. That's when I noticed, like, she cares about him. In the beginning, it's like she's like aggressive and just, but you can see his eye twitching a bit, and now it's flashing back. And so when I put, it's nice seeing happy Mark.
Yeah.
And his different attitude and just how he carried himself and just...
He didn't have the weight of the world on his shoulders and like everything is the worst and there's no joy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. He looked great. He looked so happy.
So it's so interesting always seeing him in his severed world where it seemed kind of normal. Of course, everyone is awkward because it's just like... It's like a brand new lifestyle for
Right.
them. But then we only ever knew his outie life. And so I guess I kind of saw that he was kind of just meh, just living. He was kind of depressed. It didn't do much.
Right.
But now seeing a whole different person, his hairstyle,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. He brings her an ant farm and she's like, I like plants, not ants. I like plants and farms though. And then they do like a kind of a montage of them together, which I heard on the Severance podcast. It started playing after I finished my episode of Jim
Wait,
Cornette
you
Experience today. And they were saying that Ben Stiller was sent to shoot those with a 16 millimeter camera with film.
Really?
He was sent as the second shooter
Oh my God, that's
to go get those pickup shots while they were doing something else of
Okay.
them, like with the flowers and the trees
Yeah.
and all that stuff. It just happened to be spring.
Right.
And yeah, so I thought that
Okay.
was kind of cool.
So like Gemma had a lecture. So is she a professor? She's some type of teacher.
They're both teachers.
They're both teachers.
Yes, that was what they were. Yeah, they were both teachers when they were talking about their students when they met.
Oh, that's right.
He's like, I should
And
flunk all of them. And she's like, I get that.
Yeah.
He's
So
like, who are you?
right in her office, I said it's kind of clutter, just books and papers
Yep.
everywhere.
He bought a crib.
Yeah, so then we had the flashbacks, and they were kissing, romancing, and then Gemma had said at one point, like she was like hugging him, she's like, "I'm not even here." So it's like,
He's like, right, yeah,
right.
like they're
So I'm like,
distracting each other.
Is that a
basically
reference to?
Ooh, I like that. I didn't even think of that. I was just thinking her trying to say, I don't want to distract you from your work, but
Right.
I'm totally going to
Like,
make out with
I'm
you.
not
or whatever.
even here. So it's like, wait, is this all tying in some way?
I think that's just one of those things that happens to be
Yeah.
the same.
And then baby crib.
Yeah, so did you notice what she said? She said shit in the same way she did about the dress.
She did. Yes.
The same
I
way as
noticed
with the
that.
dress.
Yeah.
Good. I'm finally training you how to watch TV, and that's why we do how to watch TV.
Anywho.
You.
Oh.
The fact that you noticed that. Thank you.
I noticed it.
Okay, good.
I didn't write it down, but I noticed that.
They had lots of light in the montage. It was like an indie movie, and the house was bright, like super bright. Now this isn't the same house that Mark lives in currently. Obviously, he lives in the Lumen housing, but let's see. Hold on. Let me pop to the comments real quick here. Do you have anything else about that scene before we? The comments.
I have, the French music was playing, flashing through their life, the plants, dancing, outside nature, just overall showing.
It was like
happy life.
spring. It was like life
Yeah.
beginning as opposed to the darkness that
I
currently
love
is around
the
them.
coloring of the flashbacks.
Yeah,
It looks
was
like a
that
golden
16
hour.
millimeter film.
Oh, you should get one of those.
It's that old nostalgic, warm
Yes.
feeling that you get from it.
Yep.
Let's see. Jessie said she teaches Russian literature, I think.
She does?
Not Jessie, that Gemma does.
Okay.
Jessie said, I don't know. Every time I try to theorize anything, I'm dead wrong, but I love that. The show is constantly going in directions I don't expect and surprising me. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Cosme said, if we consider they can simulate the exterior like they did in the 4th episode, there could be anything in there. In the Lumen, or on the severed
Say
floor.
that again.
Said, if we consider they can simulate the exterior
Yeah.
like they did in the 4th episode, the Ortbo,
Yep.
there could be anything in there.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Wow, just think of.
It's like an unending, maybe it goes under the whole town.
They had like a whole baseball stadium.
Yeah.
Maybe a Severance team. Innies versus the Outies. I just imagine them as like the little Wii characters.
Right.
Little me's with no feet. We should make the Severance characters into characters.
I see. He was talking about Cold Harbor. Saying Cold Harbor, there could be anything in there. If what we saw in the 4th episode was a crazy exterior, there could be anything in Cold Harbor.
Yeah.
So people have been suggesting that it's something to do with her dying in a car crash in a cold harbor.
Right.
Like maybe simulating that. Maybe they're going to give her the real experience of dying in a car crash.
That's horrifying.
I know,
drown.
but I'm just saying, like, they just asked her about drowning.
Right.
Holy shit. She said drowning, right?
Yes.
So what if they drown her in Cold Harbor?
At the beginning.
But then say I don't think they're going to kill her. That doesn't make any sense. Why go through all this to kill her? We see, like, the next day after the montage, and they're sitting in their sunroom talking to Devin and Rickon. Mm-hmm. Very weird to me. Mark is super nice with Rickon and not annoyed by him. Rickon isn't that different.
Right.
Why did Mark like this version of? Why did this version of Mark like Rickon? He was
happy just being nice to everyone, but now that his wife died in this former life,
couldn't keep up the facade.
Like, all right, like he's like, I'm not gonna put up with your stupid shit. Like in a way of like I don't know.
He seemed to genuinely like him. It didn't seem like he was put out by him at all,
right.
and like clearly current day. Now Rickon only had the mustache. He had the Ned Flanders going. Gemma refuses a drink, so this is when we find out she's pregnant.
So she was like, Gemma isn't drinking, and Devin asks, "Are you not drinking?" When she's pouring it, and then she covers it like. Obviously, she's not drinking. Why you gotta go and ask her, like, are you not drinking? Like, you clearly see she's not drinking.
But I think the point of that was to tell you that they normally will be drinking sitting out there talking, and they do this a lot.
Okay.
That they often sit there, and it's like, no, well, yeah, they're casual alcoholics.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's Jose.
While they were talking about that, in the background, I don't know if anybody caught it, Rickon was talking about purifying pee into water and drinking it.
Yeah, yep.
And Mark's not fed up with this guy yet. It fades to night on Gemma's eyes. And like it was like this close-up shot on her, and then the lighting changed and it went cold.
Oh yeah, she's sitting in the bathroom, maybe pregnancy sickness. And then cut to the next.
I mean, I'll be honest, it didn't hit me emotionally as much as I thought it would, but it was very, very reminiscent. You know what I mean? It felt like that
I'm not
same.
Even thinking that. I'm not even.
I know, but it
fast
just
forward past me then.
Yeah, that. So we go to. Yeah, like I said, the only thing I didn't want to see her losing the baby and Mark consoling her in the shower. I felt like they handled it relatively respectfully and not graphically.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
that's
it flashbacks into the office with Miss Casey and Mark.
I heard something super interesting on the podcast
Lay it on me.
that they said about it. That the person who directed the episode decided that the rain needed to transition between those two scenes. So they brought, like he was in the shower, rain was falling on him, okay? When it cuts to Mark when it fades and cuts to Mark in the office, the rain is the same shower situation they brought into the MDR office, but they filmed it in reverse. Like they filmed it but then reversed it.
Okay.
So the water is receding. It's going up away from them. And I just thought that was interesting that like they made the effort to make that the water be part of the transition there to him going back to that simple interaction between the two of them when she was just desperate for any human interaction there. Mm-hmm. When they were like, he was like, well, I'll just leave you here or whatever it was at the time. And then we go to one of the coolest shots.
The big shoe tapping.
The big shoe tapping? Was that the pulling down through the wires thing?
Oh, no.
They it started on Miss Casey and then it pulled down or whatever and then it went under the desk or into the wires.
Yeah, and
None of that was CGI.
Yeah.
They practically shot that somehow. I have no idea how. They literally shot that with a real camera and real wires and things.
Yeah.
And then it went to, it ended up in like a surveillance room. That made me get huge Lost vibes.
So it was Drummond, but that big shoe looked like a freaking clown shoe. He was tapping his foot as they were going under the desk. And so I noticed that. I'm like, he's got big feet. And I said, someone watching Mark through the computer camera. And it's Drummond and another guy in this blue tracksuit looking outfit with a whistle. And they said, are the Severance barriers holding? Yes, you'll like her. She's easy to like. She's fond of me too, of course. Didn't she try to break your fingers? So this is the guy in that tracksuit.
Dr. Maurer. Yeah. So, a couple things there. The Severance barriers are holding. Do you think they're trying to make them not hold? Do you think we're doing like extreme... Look, I just thought of this.
Like extreme experiments.
When I used to have to test software at RDS, it would be try to break it.
How do you even break software?
You try to enter things that shouldn't be entered where they are. Like if it's a text-only response, you put numbers in there and you try to see if the coding can handle every situation.
Got it.
So maybe they're doing that with Gemma. They're trying to do everything they can to break the Severance barrier, to prove that the Severance barrier is unbreakable.
Okay, yeah.
Or to make sure that it's unbreakable, rather.
Right. And is this one kind of in reintegration kind of mess with this? Because
well, of course, reintegration would mess with that. Yeah, that would make it not unbreakable. But
so it is
from their point of view, they're trying to make it where
it's
within the floors of their building, you can't be one versus the other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, somebody said, I thought it was artificial intelligence. Like they take the scene from season 1 and the prompt was put the camera and show the ceiling of the office, something like that. They're trying to translate it. It said IA, Intelligencia Artificial.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I'm trying to paraphrase here, but no, it was a practically shot thing. Every single thing was actually shot in camera.
Right.
So, let's see. Yeah, so what do you think about her trying to break his fingers? Do you think he tried to make a move? And are they not watching? Are they not watching Dr. Maurer?
Right.
Like in the rooms? Are they not paying attention?
They probably know. Obviously, they know.
Well, anyways, we go to a doctor appointment with Mark.
Before that, I have Gemma walking back with the nurse lady. Her blue dress resembles the guy's blue tracksuit. He had this...
Which guy?
The guy that was in the
Dr.
security
Maurer?
room watching. He was with Mr. Drummond.
Was that not Dr. Maurer?
Was it? I don't know. He looked different. He looked more of like...
I thought it was.
70s dude. 'Cause he had this tracksuit and he had the whistle. It was like this blue and this white striping.
It couldn't have been because at the same time, dude was in there with the Christmas sweater.
Yeah, so it was some different guy.
Okay.
He looked like some guy from the movie Dodgeball or
I
something.
don't know why I thought they were all the same.
But Gemma's dress was very similar. Her outfit resembled the tracksuit dress version of what this guy was wearing.
Okay, so they're making a match.
I could be completely
just
noticing a random thing.
You're
but
fine. I like it.
And now Mark and Gemma are at the doctor's office.
But did you notice it was a Lumen office?
Yes.
It was a Lumen doctor's office.
Oh, God, that's right.
And Mark tells her it's the next step for a lot of people. And she apologizes, I'm sorry. And it's oh, God, all of it, way too much. So they're at Lumen signing her up. And it's so Lumen has been around... And they're willingly getting her there to... Now, did she see them before that? Was there any doctor appointment or anything before her miscarriage?
Not that I know of, so...
Because I'm thinking, what if Lumen set this up? What if she had seen a doctor before and they did an IVF, and then they intentionally make it not go through so that she will go further into their system to where she would eventually sign her life away to go in to be treated. I'm trying to figure out how they get her inside, you know what I mean,
Right.
from this. Because it goes from, I'm having a hard time having a baby to
Right, yeah.
I'm willing to go into to be severed. And I don't quite get how they get there. We get weird cuts of the hallway and then back to them, and they gives her her last shot to try and get pregnant. So I'm assuming that's what this whole Lumen doctor's office thing was about. But the fact that why can't I remember his name?
Mauer, Joel.
Dr. Mauer.
Write it down.
I just looked at the comments. It was a Lumen office, and Dr. Mauer was there. Lumen logo on the machine at the blood drive where they met too. So it could have been, I don't know. I just feel like there could be something with that. Let's see. They then say, what do you have after that? I had she's back with the dentist.
Yeah, that works.
I put her teeth hurt from Wellington. And then they start like listing the rooms that she had visited. Do you have any of those?
Yeah, what do you got for those?
After Wellington, I have Billings room. Do you have any other ones?
Yeah, do you not have them down?
Yeah.
Oh, just read them off.
Oh, Lucknow, St. Pierre, Cairns, Zurich, Wellington, and just the confirmation that she remembers nothing in the rooms. Mm-hmm. But again, like we discussed earlier, obviously she's connecting the pain to something when she leaves there. They ask if she felt despair after leaving any of the rooms. And then she mentions the new Cold Harbor door. Oh, this is when they say after she goes in all the rooms, the world will see you and you will see the world again. They didn't say the world will see you again. So it's almost like the new version of her will go out into the world. I don't know. It was a weird phrasing. It feels like that permanent any situation thing where they're going to replace the original Gemma, or they're trying to. Maybe that's what they're doing in each room. Maybe they're trying to find a version of her that works where she doesn't remember Mark. I don't know why they want that. It doesn't really make any sense. Anyways, she finally asks about Mark. Anything? You got anything from anywhere around that? Mm-mm. Okay, let's see. He will benefit from the world you are siring. So there's not going to be any. I remember you writing stuff about this. So that doesn't sound like you're going to get to reunite with him. That sounds like you're sacrificing yourself so that he can live in a better world without you. Hello?
Hello.
Anything? Thoughts?
I've got nothing on that. I just had what you said. Mark will benefit from this. I literally just wrote down what they said.
Right, but what do you think about it? Like, what do you think that means?
I don't know. I have no clue.
Do we think it's possible that she does remember something from the rooms, but is just telling them she doesn't? I don't know. I guess. What do you think? Do you think it's possible that she's remembering anything and just being like, no, I don't remember?
Possibly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely could be. Let's see. Kier will take away all his pain like he did for you. So have they been brainwashing her with the Kier stuff as well? On her stay at Lumen while she's trying to get pregnant, I'm assuming?
Don't know.
Well, obviously. And then she goes, can you please just talk like a normal person? Mm-hmm. And then he goes, dream sweet. She just said talk like a normal person.
Right, yeah.
Nobody says dream sweet.
Funny.
Let's see. After that, we go to Devin asking about Mark's status. And she's trying to talk with Ragabi about this. And she's like, there was an innie cabin? And then she said it was, what was the name of the birthing retreat?
Hold on, I lost my spot. Demona.
Jesse said if that's what they are doing, replacing the real Gemma in the outside world, they definitely did that to Rickon. Dude is so weird.
Yeah.
I can't figure out any other explanation for that. That makes sense with me. Let's see. Devin and Mark both give Ragabi shit. Oh, she's like, you're just like your brother. And this is where I kind of felt like I was getting a vibe from Devin. Like, is she working against everybody's better interests here? And then she's like, I have custody of his brain now. Which did not help my vibes with her, if I'm being honest. He's muttering Chikhai Bardo. And even during the day, it's dark in there. Like, it was literally daytime, and there was just nothing for light.
So did you skip past when she was trying to call Cobell and all that other stuff?
Yes, I did, accidentally. I had one line. Devin wants to call Harmony. Go ahead. Tell us about that.
Oh, that's all you.
But I don't have anything.
Oh, I just had that note. That was it. That's why you just jumped past it. So I saw.
Yeah, I skipped one line
That was
there
like
on
Mark
accident.
saying, trying to say ch. He never said like the full thing, but he was trying to like. say
Chikhai
it.
Bardo, yeah.
I just thought that it jumped ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, if you're going to call Harmony, then I'm out. Like, that's it. Like, she drew a nice line there. It was like, what else is she supposed to do? She only knows her as, Devin only knows Miss Cobell as Miss Selvig. Mm-hmm. You know, so she was helpful and, like, taught her how to birth, or how to nurse and stuff like that. So she didn't know the extent of what she's capable of, I don't think. Let's see.
But Ragabi had said she's Lumen through and through. She was raised by them. She's a soldier.
Yeah.
So.
I agree with that. Let's see. We're going to we see the card that Dylan stole in season 1 and hid behind the toilet. That's the same card. And the card was Ego Death, which is what Chikhai, or whatever it means. This is amazing. He's translating the lyrics for Sweet Dreams Are Made of These, and it says, Dreams Sweet Made are of this.
Okay.
The music note, then, I am who to disagree. I travel the 7 seas in the world. Music, sorry, I'm learning English from the Doctor of Lumen. Let's see. They send it to her in the mail. Oh, so she starts doing this, like, did you ever hear that thing where it was like trying to see if you were good at drawing as a kid? Where it'd be like, draw this duck and send it back, or
So
draw
that's
this
the thing
turtle.
I have. She's drawing a duck paper saying maybe she got added to a list when she went to the doctor.
Right, but presumably she's drawing that same duck rabbit thing that's in Milchick's office.
Oh, okay.
But she's participating in this stuff that's getting her deeper into Lumen. For whatever reason, she's thinking they're going to solve her problems here. Let's see. Mark is bothered by her doing this stuff, and she's feeling beat to shit, and he says, let's stop then. And she wanted support, not for him to be annoyed. Anyways, Gemma wakes up at Lumen and gets ready. She's on an airplane now. I don't...
Bad turbulence.
Yeah, what was that? She's doing the pose from the card. So that, like, weird card, like the little sketch card, she was doing the pose from that.
She was doing yoga.
Let's see. Cold Harbor stuck at... Oh, wait, let's see. When Mark's done, they say goodbye to Gemma. So does that just mean that her refining has been completed? It doesn't seem like she would then be eliminated. That doesn't make sense to me. Why go through all this for all this time to bring Mark in to just kill her? Like, they're not messing with Mark, I don't think.
Right.
Gemma wakes up at Lumen, gets ready. She's on an airplane, and let's see. Cold Harbor is stuck at 96%.
I thought it was 60%.
They're at
Someone
96.
says he's stuck at 60. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
No, you're good. They're 96 now, and they had some weird treats being prepared. I didn't quite follow what that was. Did you have anything describing any of those treats?
Mm-mm.
Jesse said, did you get the Lost reference from the airplane room? The guy hit the ceiling, then the floor, just like on Lost when the plane split in half. Like,
Oh, yeah, I did.
I can't wait to see more about Cobell this week. The next episode is only 38 minutes. It's going to be short but sweet. Only 38 minutes? How many are there this season? Are there 9 again or 10? I'm hoping 10.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I had something after he's stuck at 60%, which you said was wrong. The nosebleeds set us back. When he's done, you're going to have to say goodbye to her.
Right. Yeah, so she's no longer being tested then, so presumably she's done. Unless this dude is only the guy in the first 25 rooms, as opposed to all of them.
Right.
And then they make fun of his stupid sweater, where he's wearing the Christmas sweater. Mm-hmm. Let's see, Gemma puts on a ring. Dear Mr. Disdale?
Tisdale.
Was it Tisdale? Okay, for some reason it auto-corrected to that. Christmas gift of an electric grouter. So she's in this room just writing thank you cards.
I first noted her bad handwriting. I was thinking, like, wow, she's so messed up on whatever they have her on that her penmanship is just terrible. But then after seeing, she's writing hundreds of letters for him.
But also that when she was writing in the outside world as a professor, she's right-handed. And in the Christmas room, she's writing left-handed. Mm-hmm. So they must have told her she's left-handed for some reason as the any version, or as the severed version, because she's not left-handed. Like she was signing a document later on in the episode, or at some point, it was righty. Anyways, let's see here. So, yeah, the guy is clearly into her. They're playing Baby It's Cold Outside, which in recent years has taken on that weird connotation where it was a little like, forcible. He makes her then say, I love you. How'd you feel about that scene? Like, that was odd, right? That like he was like, I said I love you.
Right.
Until she said it and she goes, I love you. It was kind of...
Obviously it was sarcastic.
Yeah. It was like, oh, that's why he wore the sweater. Her hand hurts after. So she's feeling the pain from what she does behind the doors, but doesn't know what she's doing.
Right.
So her hand writes from just cramping from writing. Mm-hmm. What do you have after that?
Oh, I just had that. Her hands were hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she feels the pain coming back from her innie to her outie. Whatever you want to call that.
Oh, Jessie suggested that she was writing with her left hand. I think she wrote so many thank you cards with her right hand that she switched to her left. I guess that's possible. I just thought they were messing with her and trying to teach her to write left-handed and therefore going through all of that over and over again. Yeah, either way. So this is when Mark's building the crib?
Yeah, sure.
And she walks down the hallway that looks like one of those elevators.
Yeah, the long hall. Gemma eating cake-like thing.
She was eating a cake-like thing?
I have no clue.
Okay.
No clue.
I had, they can't tell these things are going, can tell these things aren't going well as it's super dark now in the house. Oh, can tell things aren't going well. So when Mark is in there trying to set up the crib and he's struggling with it, all the lights are like dark again. We're almost to current levels of darkness in the house. So they're already having like these rifts and whatnot. Then she remembers a Christmas, and it looks very similar, the tinsel on the tree, stuff like that, to what she had in the Christmas room in Allentown. Mm-hmm. Like they're her and Mark's Christmas.
Right.
Dr. Maurer comes up from the exports hallway to visit Gemma. asks how she's feeling and which room did it. She just says she wants to go home, and this is when dude straight up lies to her and tells her that Mark is remarried and has a daughter now. So he's obviously trying to trigger her there.
Hasn't even gone a long time, Gemma. He's moved on. Maybe you've moved on too. As in that guy in the Christmas room, aka Allentown.
Yeah, he's like, maybe you felt stuff in there that you never felt with Mark. He's like,
She knocks out the doctor.
Yeah.
And then she walks into the hallway. Oh, this is when she's trying to go because she realizes something is obviously wrong or different or what's going on.
Well, she even mentions that book, the death of whatever, and he's like, "Oh, does the person die in it?" So he's the opposite of Mark. I think that was a contrast there to show that she's not like, or that he's not enough like Mark for her to ever fall for him.
Right.
Yeah, she doesn't believe him. Let's see. She attacks him. She walks out. She's running around, and then someone wandered out, like. When she was running through the hallways there.
It was the nurse lady trying to look for her.
Okay. For some reason, I was like, is that Miss Huang?
That's when she was hiding around the corner.
Yes.
And then after that, she runs into the elevator and kind of merges back to whatever Gemma version she is.
Yeah, she transitions when she gets in the elevator. And then we cut to Mark and Gemma talking before her accident, and it was like, okay, she's leaving. This is going to be the last time they're going to see each other. The guy with the sweater copied Gemma not letting Mark not say I love you back. Like, she, in this version, says to Mark, she says, I love you, and then she goes to leave, and she's like, I said I love you. And he goes, I'm sorry, I love you too. Yeah, because he was distracted. Mark was. That's exactly what the guy in the Christmas room said to her.
Yeah.
To try to trigger that memory or that emotion or whatever.
Right.
And then, let's see.
Then she asks Mark if he wants to go with her, and he's like, no, I really gotta get this done by 10 o'clock. I was like, okay.
Yep.
We're done by tonight. And she's like, okay, I'll be back around 10.
Yeah.
That's what I knew. Oh, she's gonna die tonight.
Yeah, that seemed like, okay, that's going to be the last time they ever see each other.
Oh, I put her, she's gonna get kidnapped by Lumen.
I think she signed up to go in with them.
Oh, okay.
Maybe because she can't leave clearly now. Like, she's trying to, but anyways, we go back to Lumen. She looked like she was in Irving's painting. Mm-hmm. Like in that hallway with all the dark and the red down arrow. And then, boom, she's Miss Casey. So she ran into the elevator, got away, closed it before
So she became Miss Casey when she went
she got to the severed floor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was Miss Casey. That's why when she met Milchick, she was like, am I happy up there? Like,
Happy up where?
Like up on the, or no, maybe she asked that in a different time. But she was trying to escape as Gemma. She scanned her card, got in the elevator, and then as soon as she got in, it did the whoop thing.
And she went to because that's where she used to be.
Mm-hmm. So they have it set up to, it's diabolical, where like Gemma is in there, and any room she goes into on the testing floor, she becomes somebody else because she's severed.
Right.
Any elevator she gets into, she has to pass the severed floor, so she becomes Miss Casey and is not Gemma anymore. So she can't then get out from there because she doesn't know she's trying to leave.
Okay.
So this is where Milchick stops her. Mm-hmm. And
he said her Audi was coming for an art exhibition, and she must have went into the wrong elevator. Then he directs her to turn back around, and she tries to ask where she is, and he just cut her off and said, thank you, Miss Casey.
Yeah. And then she tried it again. And he's like, have a good night.
Right.
Jesse pointed out that she had ink smudges on both hands.
Yeah, she did.
I did not notice that.
From the pen.
So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just that they were telling her she was lefty. That makes way more sense.
So now they're back at home, and Mark is working still.
Yep.
Else when he hears the vehicles approach.
Yep.
And he's kind of just like wondering who it is, and then it goes back to Gemma back as Gemma at Lumen, and the nurse lady, of course, looking mad because.
Waking up in the elevator, yeah.
And then it kind of pans back or transitions back into the scene with Mark kind of looking through the door with the glass panes of the window. You see the police there. And then back to Gemma in tears. Like she knows what's happening. And the nurse lady is kind of like comforting her as they're walking back down the hall.
Right.
Because she had her arm around her.
Pablo says, I'm Cosme from my other account. From this device, I noticed you have the Kier's beard. Don't, Emma.
Pablo Cosme.
Yeah, let's see. So Mark typing away. Gemma wakes up back in the elevator. Cops show up at Mark's. Gemma cries and slinks down in the elevator, and she calls for Mark. Mm-hmm. And then...
So that's when Mark was looking at the door with the cops. I don't think he opened the door yet. But he was just looking through the window, and that's when he started to transition to Mark waking up now.
Jesse said Milchick was out of breath wearing his leather jacket. So where did he come from, and how did he get there so fast to intercept?
Probably rode his motorcycle down the hallway.
Down the hallway. He's out of breath from riding his motorcycle. Current Mark wakes up, and I don't know if you noticed, but every single time we've seen Audi Mark, his face is half lit. Remember I was telling you about that in the episode where at the dinner party with Bert and Irving?
Yeah.
That Bert and Irving were both half lit, like sometimes our light will be, where like this side's dark and this side's light.
When you purposely make my face half, I'm like, make me look normal.
But that's to show that they're half a person kind of thing. They're severed there.
Right.
When Mark woke up, for the first time, sun was coming in his window, and it lit his whole face. Is he fully reintegrated now?
Okay.
He was dreaming about Gemma. That's all I have. Do you have anything else on this episode?
No, just Devin, she said, oh, Mark, where'd you go?
Yeah. Wait a minute. That's the same thing that Gemma was asked at the beginning of the episode. Gemma, where'd you go?
Yeah, that's true. And then he has a flashback, and then...
How is this show so good? How do they do all of this cinematography genius?
I don't think I would like this show if it weren't for me not having to watch it, but watching it with you.
You watched the whole first season by yourself, though. And you liked it.
I wanted to watch it because, it was good, but I typically would probably never watch it, though.
You may not have picked this show, but I think the show interests you. You just needed me to give you the push to watch it.
Okay.
You nailed it without me. You watched the whole first season, and I jumped in at the end like, holy crap. Jesse said, I definitely think Mark is fully reintegrated now. But didn't Ragabi act like there was still more work to do? I mean, I guess it could be that like maybe he smacked his head and that reintegrated the whole thing, but with Gemma's chip able to multiple sever her, that's kind of intriguing to see where they can go with this.
Right.
Because they could, in theory, implant a personality into her. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. Should we just come back next week and talk more about it? What do you think?
Well, yeah.
Do you have any more thoughts for this episode?
I don't.
You don't? You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay, episode 8 is titled. Not sure what it is, but it's definitely titled.
Since I watch TV.
See you later.
Oh, you ended it?
Yep.